better. My name is Patricia Abokede, and I'm a child protection advocate, a parenting coach, and a trauma coach. I help parents, schools, caregivers, and communities create a safe environment for our children. So, if you have been following me, we've been talking about safe and smart conversation with parents, how to make our children safe in when it comes to sexual orientation. We'll be talking about how to prevent child sexual abuse. So today, I'm talking. The topic we are discussing today is how to protect your children from sexual abuse at home, at school, and online. So this is a conversation every parent needs to be part of. So if you are joining for the first time, I would like to meet you. Let me know where you are connecting from. I'm connecting with you from Nigeria, and this channel is for us to discuss on child protection, on parenting, on trauma recovery, and how to make our lives better. All right, so let's dive in. One of the most common conversation many parents don't always have with their children is conversation around sexual prevention and sexual abuse prevention. Majorly, parents, want their children to do well academically, want them to do excellently well. We want them to come home with flying colors. We want them to be very intelligent. We want to be the parent that admires at the prize giving day. We want our children to be protected from, for example, in Nigeria, we have challenges when it comes to security. We want all of those. But one conversation many parents have not really paid attention, on is prevention of sexual abuse of children. And this is a very, very important topic. For those that have been joining my conversation, we have talked extensively on trauma, how people get traumatized as children, how to identify if you are still living in your childhood trauma, how to come out of your childhood trauma. You can check the channel for the playlist on childhood trauma. Now, one of the things that causes serious trauma is child sexual abuse, because child sexual abuse steals the childhood from the child. It takes away that childhood. It steals the innocence of that child. And a lot of people who live in trauma or who have traumatic experiences can trace it to their childhood because they were sexually abused. Now, this conversation is not to scare us, is not to make you feel uncomfortable or to be suspecting everybody. It's just to create awareness. This channel is to create awareness so that we can be more vigilant as parents, and we can give our children everything they need to do well. Now, one of the things I want to talk about is that when it comes to sexual abuse, a lot of times parents think it's something far away, something that cannot happen in my house, something that, God forbid, African parents, especially Nigerian parents, say, God forbid it will not happen to me. Yes, nobody prays for it. But at the same time, when we are having this conversation, is for us to be able to know that these things happen around us. These things need to be prevented. We need to protect our children's sanity when they are children, because what forms your adulthood is the memory and the experiences you had as children, in your family, in the environment, your relationship with people, the people you mingled with, the family challenges that happened to you as a child, and all of that, and what cumulates to our experiences as adults. Some people are having a lot of life challenges because they were not protected in their childhood. They encountered a lot of traumatic experiences, and those experiences are still living with them, and they are not able to snap themselves out of those experiences. Why? Because somebody did not do their work diligently as an adult in their life. So when we have children around us, it's our duty as adults, as parents, as caregivers, as schools, as every environment where children are, it's our duty as adults to protect them, because children cannot protect themselves. So like I said, the goal of this conversation is not to bring suspicion or to start suspecting everybody, because I remember when we started this conversation, when we started this campaign against sexual abuse, it wasn't that popular then. People were very, very afraid. And some people, very, very afraid. That's not what I'm here to do. I want you to listen and follow me, and make sure you stay to the end, because for you to get the best of this conversation, you need to be here with me. So thank you for joining me once again. I am Patricia Abokede. I would like to know where you're connecting from. Can you put on the chat where you're connecting from, so that I can know how far this conversation is reaching, and if I'm giving value. I would like to hear from you. Also share this link with somebody. A parent needs to be part of this conversation. Child caregiver needs to be part of this conversation. Oh, thank you very much, Victoria Adeyemi. Wow, from Ibadan. Thank you. That's from Nigeria. Thanks for joining. Make sure you share this link, this conversation, to somebody with a parent who needs to be part of this conversation. A child caregiver, either in church. Victor Olayemi. Okay, all right. Victor Olayemi, that's fine. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. So quickly share this link with somebody who can benefit from this conversation. Thank you for joining. All right. So I'm also talking to you. I'm connecting with you from Nigeria, Ibadan. So we are in Ibadan together. All right, great. So let's go deep into this now. Yeah, you're welcome. Great. Now, when it comes to children don't have the capacity to protect themselves. No. And children don't have the capacity to know what is right or what is wrong. As African parents, I have studied this a lot. And I also, somehow I was guilty. I'm adjusting. I'm working on myself. We always assume children should know. When you are talking to a child, say, don't you know? Don't you know? Should you not know? We always assume children should know. And children don't know. It's our duty to let them know what is right and what is wrong. To let them understand this is good or this is not good. This is where to go and this is not where to go. So that is why we are creating this awareness. That's why we have this conversation. So that we can understand that no matter the age of a child, nowhere, in fact, it can never happen in my house. It's not true. As much as I know it will not happen in your house, or I pray it will not happen in your house, is that you have to know that a lot of things happen right under your nose and you may not know. Remember back then as a child, I came from a Catholic family. We had, seminarians come to our house to, please, this is not to talk down on any religion on it. I'm just sharing my own experience. Then they will come and visit us, because my parents are from the East, and when we have the Eastern students like that, they always look for a family they can associate with. So my parents were very welcoming, and they always welcome these people. Right there in my parents' sitting room, I have one of them come and touch me, tell me he loves me, try to play some touching game and all of those things. Of course, I didn't know better. But what I'm trying to say is that even then, as a child, under my parents' roof, in our sitting room, somebody was touching me, unknowing to my parents. I've had situations where somebody have told me that there was a particular child who goes to school with the mom. The mom is a teacher. Right in the staff room, beside her mom was another teacher who was also touching her child. So these things can be so close that you don't even know. It can be so close. I do understand the question, how you look how you, okay, I would like you to, if you want to ask, make it very explicit so I can understand and answer if it's part of it. So now, people, sometimes children get exposed to sexual exploitation right under their parents' nose, and the parents may not know. So that you don't think, oh, this person is a pastor, is a priest, is a my child's teacher, is the uncle, is the auntie, oh, they are saved. No, you need to be well informed. Now, the dangerous thing, like I said, is that most times people also think that it's strangers, only strangers that can abuse a child. It's not true. Children are abused at home, they are abused in schools, they are abused within family members. I shared in one of my videos, maybe 2 or 3 videos 2 weeks ago, of a parent who reported that her father-in-law was taking advantage of the children. That is a grandfather. So that we don't think these things are far. They happen. There are lots of incest happening within the home. So we can know, and we can be able to protect our children. So that's why we are creating this awareness. It happens in religious settings. It happens in extended family. It happens among trusted people, neighbors abuse children. So we can know, and we don't. Hello, Flourish. Thanks for joining, Flourish. Thank you so much for joining. Where are you connecting from, Flourish? Let me know. Let me know. I would like to know where you're connecting from. Now, this is why the preventive issue is very important, because we don't have to wait till something happens before we start running helter-skelter. Fighting sexual abuse, especially within the family, can be very, very, very traumatic. Can be very, very, very challenging. So the best thing is to protect and prevent. Prevention is the best cure, is the best remedy for sexual abuse, because the rigor of fighting it can be very, very, very distressing. I can tell you that for sure. So many parents focus on issue of after abuse. When I started my campaign years back, I joined a network of child protectors, and I realized that what we do was fighting the abuser after the abuse has happened. And I was involved in a lot of case management that time. We go from court to hospital to going to the community to arrest the abuser, to go. It was a serious, a very emotionally draining experience then. So I realized that what can we do better? We can prevent. We can teach prevention. When we teach prevention, parents are informed. Parents educate their children. We teach the schools. We teach community people. Then we can collectively protect children. Of course, no matter how well informed you are, no matter how well educated you are about prevention, of course it happens once in a while. Then we can now pursue, tertiary situation or secondary situation. But the best way of prevention is the primary. Don't let it happen. Don't let it happen. So let's not focus on outsiders just thinking something. There are some things that are happening now that we used to think is the Western things. So these things happen in the Western part of the world. It's not a African things. But of course we know that those things that we thought are Western things are happening right under our nose now. And it's not something you can just close your eyes about any longer, because they are so close to us now. So many parents should not focus on strangers alone. Educate your children, empower your children to know that these things happen. So our goal is how to reduce the risks before harm. That's the most important thing. How can we reduce this risk? How can we prevent our children not even having an encounter with sexual molestation or just protect? Prevention is the best. So one of the greatest gifts you can give your children is not fear. Now, talking about this prevention, I'm not trying to put fear in you to make you be afraid or That's not my goal. Is don't put fear in your children. It's not about fear. And it's also about you being afraid. You don't have to panic. You need to gain knowledge. Knowledge is power. So if you are still with me, I want you to type on the comment section, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is very powerful. When you are informed, when you know something, you are bigger than that thing. But what you don't know is bigger than you. Now, before we go deep into how to prevent, yes, avoidance is better than amendment. That is the perfect truth. Prevention is cheaper and better. Avoidance is better than amendment. If you have a cloth that is torn, you take time to tear it. But what if you make sure that cloth does not tear? So that's what we are talking about here. So let's talk about the myths many people have when it comes to child sexual abuse. The first myth is strangers are main danger. Most times parents think with strangers. I've said that repeatedly. Many cases involve people the child knows. That is why this form of abuse is even more dangerous. Is one of the most, when we're talking about adverse childhood experiences or child abuse, this is one of the most very delicate abuse, because most of the time it happens with the child. It happens with somebody the child knows, somebody the child trusts, somebody the child respects, somebody that the child the parents trust. So I did a video. My last conversation was on grooming, how predators groom the child and the parents. So most abuse happen from people that has built trust with the child or with the family members. So when it is happening, nobody is even paying attention that something like that is happening. Nobody is even looking at it. Nobody is even thinking about it. You just assume, oh, this person is already a family member. It's already somebody we know. It's already, is not, So that is why it's very important to pay attention. The second myth is that my child will not tell me. Some people feel my child will tell me. Sorry, that's the second myth. If something happens, my child will tell me. I trust my child, they will tell me. That is why sometimes when children are abused, the way some people handle this, they say, why didn't you tell anybody? There are some years back, we had issues of people saying, oh, this person abused me when I was a child, and people were laying blame on the people that were speaking of that. Why wouldn't you tell? Why didn't, for that long, you kept it to yourself? Please don't blame people for keeping sexual abuse to themselves, because most times, like I said, imagine a religious leader abusing a child. How do you want that child to explain it, that this pastor you people are reverencing, or this person is taking advantage of me? So most times it happens with people that when you mention that name, or when you mention the person that is doing this abuse, people will almost or always doubt that person. So people think, oh, if it happens, my child will tell me. Don't always assume that. It's a myth. Don't think your child will tell you. As a matter of fact, like I told you, my sexual abuse experience as a child, till today I've not told my parents. Because when I built the confidence, when I started my activities, my parents were already old. They were not longer with us. They have moved to the east. My dad has retired. And so I was like, what's the point? What's the point of telling them? Is it to make them feel bad or what? I already gain knowledge. I'm already an activist. So I felt it wasn't important. But I'm telling you, as much as how children may not even tell their parents. So don't assume if it happens, my child will tell, because you feel no. So why? Many children feel ashamed if it happens. Some of them are confused. They are confused that this person, is this what this person doing? Is it right? Is it okay? They are confused. They can't, like I shared when I started, children don't know what is right and what is wrong. Sometimes if the children are not well informed, they don't even know it's a bad thing. I grew up, became a nurse, have children, before I understood what was called child sexual abuse. So don't assume the child will tell you. No. Then children also feel confused. They feel threatened. Like many times, people who abuse children threaten them. They tell them if you tell somebody, they will not believe you, because most of them they will have gained the trust of the child, the trust of the parents, or they put serious threat that if you tell your parents, something will happen to your parents may, they may buy or something, and no child wants the parents to go, so they are afraid. Sometimes if you tell your parents, they will not believe you, or something bad will happen to you, something bad will happen to somebody. They put threats. Sometimes they fear punishment. They fear that if they tell you, you will punish them, because most of the time when things happen the other way, children always blame themselves for what is happening. They always assume it's because they didn't do it right, because this, because that. So sometimes children fear that they'll be punished. That is why we are also talking about building relationship with your child. I've had parents, who say things like, "Oh, you people say we should be friends with our children. I cannot be friends with my child because the parenting is different from friendship." What we mean by being friends with your child is connecting with your child. It's not you having gists of your husband or gists of your age mate with your child. Connection. When your children feel comfortable around you to talk to you about anything, even when things that are going wrong are happening, they feel confidence to talk about it too. So now the third myth is, my child is too young. Nobody can, this child, who wants to touch a child? Let me tell you a story. Excuse me. I had a lot of experiences when it comes to sexual abuse. The ones I saw and the ones that happened to me. Now, when I was, after my secondary school, I decided that I don't want to work for my mom. My mom has a mini store. When my sister worked for her, when she finished school, she promised to pay my sister, she didn't pay her. So I said, I don't want to go through that one. I want to go and learn a trade, or I want to go and work for someone else. So I went to learn I want to learn tailoring. Right in front of my tailoring shop, there was a young man. They were selling, I think, car parts or something, or boats, things like that. I can't remember very well. That was many years back. So this man always collects a baby. There was a baby of one of the people in that, somebody that owns a shop in that area, a newborn baby, about maybe 3-6 months. This man will put his hand inside the girl's diaper and be touching that girl. I saw it several times. If I had told my boss, I think I would call her boss, the person I was learning from, that this man does this thing, she said, she didn't approach it. She didn't talk. I wish it's me now. I would have approached that. I'm telling you how small that child was. So don't say, "Oh, my child is too small. Nobody can do this." Predators are bad, and they don't have any special look. They don't have any special look. So you can't assume, this person, my child is safe here. So the children are no child is too young to be sexually abused. If a young man can be, fingering a toddler, I'm telling you, a toddler, that means that child is also not safe. So those are the 3 myths I'm mentioned, and there are so many other myths about sexual abuse, but let me just stop at that. So let's talk about how to protect children at home. How do you protect children in your home? Now let's begin with where children spend more of their time, which is home. At least the children spend quality time at home and then in school. Most parents believe that home is automatically safe. I've shared a number of experiences with you that home is not automatically safe. I've mentioned the case of the grandparents. I've mentioned the case of my own. Now, teaching children about safety is very important. The first thing you need to teach your child is let them take ownership of their body. Teach them to have ownership of their own body. That their body belongs to them. Their body belongs to them. Nobody has the right to touch them in any part of their body without their permission. Now, they don't have to permit. Because when we say without their permission, that means if the person says, okay, should I touch you? They say, okay, you can. No. They do not permit any unreasonable touch. No touching. The only time somebody can touch them is when they are having their bath. And it's because the person is bathing them. Not the person must not go beyond bathing. Explain it to them, not in fear. Let them understand the difference between having your bath and somebody going beyond what he should. That is why you teach your children what are the private parts and what are the public area of their body. Very simple. Make it simple, make it clear, and make it powerful. The only time somebody can touch you is when for the toddlers or the school age children. When somebody is cleaning you after using the toilet or you are having your bath. Other than that, why? And if they are bathing you or cleaning you up and the place somebody is touching beyond, is painful or something, scream and tell me when you get home, or tell me when I am around, or tell me anytime I'm with you. So give them the power to be able to talk. The way African parents train children, we make children feel intimidated. We shut them down. If you have a child that you have always been shutting down, you don't give that child expression. When the child when there are issues, the child will not be able to express. Remember years back, I had a colleague who told me, my son can talk too much. Anytime he comes back from his job, he talks. I say, please let him talk. Let him talk. Because if you don't let him talk now, by the time you need him to talk, he will not be able to talk again. So let your children talk. When they want to talk with you, when they want to chat, when they want to tell you things that happen in school, let them talk. Don't shun them down. Because when you shun them down, they want to say something, you are shunning them down. By the time things are happening, you say, okay, if I go to mommy or I'm going to go to daddy, they will not listen. I work with children a lot. There was a situation a child shared with me some years back. I said, have you talked to your mommy about this? She said, no, my mommy is too busy, or she will not listen to me. Are you that very busy mother or very busy father that you don't have time for your children? You go to work, you come back, you are nagging, you are shouting at everybody, you are screaming at everybody. Your children cannot approach you. Adjust though. Because if you don't adjust, your children are used to talking to people outside. Even when things are happening, they will prefer to talk to somebody outside, and that person may be dangerous. All right? So what did I say? Number one thing to do is teach your children ownership. Let them own their body. Let me give you what I tell children. I tell them, you are the grand commander of the grand commander of the grand commander of chief of the armed forces of your body. I hope I said it well. That way we used to say, the way if you are Nigerian, the way they call governors or presidents, the grand commander in chief of the armed forces of your body. You are the owner. Don't let anybody touch you in an unpleasant way, in any way that is suspicious. You have the right to say no. I've said this, the power to say no. I've shared it several times. Teach them to say no. Let's start. Let me continue so that I don't share all my so now, use the proper name. That's number 2. Use the proper name of the body parts. Because of maybe we think, I don't know why parents do that, because that's what we met. Parents call the private parts some names and give the private parts some cute name. That's dangerous. Let me share something with you. Years back, somebody shared that the mother of a girl calls her private parts cookie, no, because the boy's genital cookies, calls the boy's genital cookies. So when somebody was now, a teacher was sexually exploiting the girl, she told her auntie, hey, uncle always put cookie on my body. She told the auntie in the school, uncle, maybe the assistant teacher or so, uncle always put cookies on my body. No, somebody in the house was touching the girl. So she told the teacher at school that uncle always put cookies on my body. And the teacher did not get it. Okay, if somebody tells you as a parent now, you are listening to me, if a child comes to you and say, hey, mommy or auntie or somebody, this person puts cookie on my body, please, how do you want to interpret it? I want to hear from you. How would you interpret cookie to mean somebody is putting his manhood on a girl's body? It's not relatable. Some people in Yoruba call the manhood kokoro. No, it's not kokoro. Kokoro means, for those that are not Yorubas and not Nigerians, kokoro means ants. Ants, and that's the layman's language, ants. So how do you want to interpret if a girl comes and say, uncle is putting ants on my body? It's not relatable. So from the time they are children, let them, when they are still infants, call their private parts the right name. Don't give it any cute name. The way you will not call the hand stick, don't call the private name any cute name. By the time you call it the right name, it means nothing. It's just like saying, oh, glass of cup. Am I right? Okay, glass cup rather. It's the same thing like saying, oh, there's water in the glass cup. It's as simple, because that is the name they would know it to be. It doesn't mean anything special. It's not irritating. Call it the right name, the exact name it is meant to be. Call it that name, so that as they are growing up and they are getting more intelligent, it won't mean anything to them. So when even if anything is happening, they can call it the right name. So don't call the private parts cute name. Teach them the correct name. Help children to communicate clearly. If you teach them the right name, it's like I said, it's help them to communicate clearly when something happens. There won't be anything confusing when they talk. Now, the third thing to do is teach safe and unsafe touch. What is safe touch? What is unsafe touch? I've said that earlier. When a child is having a bath, it's safe touch, because you will scrub the body, you will rinse the body, and that will be it. You will towel the body, that's safe touch. Touching the hand is safe touch. But when it goes beyond the hand, what is the private? That is why I also query people who sexualize children with dressing. Teach your child to cover their body so that they can know what is private and what is public. When you wear a cloth for a child that is not properly covered, the child may not even know what is different from private and public. When children grow up, they will choose what they want to wear. They will determine what they want to do. But when they are still young, teach them to dress properly. You cannot make a child an adult. Let them enjoy their childhood. Dress them like children, not like adults. Let them be children. They only have 16 to 18 years to be children. Let them enjoy their childhood. Don't make them adults early. So let them dress like children. Cover them up. When you cover them up, you can say the part of your body that is covered is your private body part. But when a child is used to wearing clothes that doesn't cover the body, and you say the part that is covered is the private body part, so which part? That means the other part that are open are not public body part. So let's make it real. When we are training our children, teaching our children morals, let it be practical. Don't say something and you are doing something else. some children, the way they dress, and you ask, they say, it's my mommy that bought it for me. So what are you telling your child? To be dressing naked? So this is not a moral class teaching about sexual abuse. But why I'm saying this is because let us be consistent with what we are teaching them. So if you want to teach them private is private, let them know, even when I dress, private is private. Now, when you're talking about safe and unsafe touch, safe touch is protective, it's helpful or comfortable. The child is crying, you give a hug, you pat the child, it's safe, there's nothing wrong with it. But when it's unsafe, it feels secretive, they feel uncomfortable, or they feel confused. That is when it is unsafe. Anytime somebody touches you and you don't feel comfortable about it, it's not safe. Let them know it's not safe. Then another point is avoid forced affection. This is very important for African parents, Nigerian parents, Yoruba parents. Don't force your children to be too I so that you don't misquote me. Don't misquote me. What I'm trying to say is that there are sometimes we force our children to do things against their will. Let me take for example, a girl has been very respectful to a particular uncle, maybe in the streets or blood uncle, family member, and then suddenly that child started becoming rude, or started becoming withdrawn, or when that person comes, or it could be a boy too, when the person comes, the child withdraws. Don't force them. Get closer to understand why they are withdrawing. Don't start insulting them and say you are now because you are turning a teenager, so you are now being rude to your uncle. You cannot even kneel down and greet very well. You cannot even do this. Then the child, because why am I saying this? Because children, behaviors or attitude speaks louder than voice. There are some things that some children want to say. They want you to see it. They want you to notice it, but you are forcing them. Okay, take for example, the child that the uncle and the grandfather is molesting. So it means that child will be running away from the grandfather. So if you say, oh yeah, this meter break, you guys are going to grandma's house, the child may be saying, no, I'm not going, I don't want to go to grandpa, I don't want to go, and the child is crying, and you feel the child is being naughty. There may be something. Children don't just withdraw from people. They withdraw because they're not comfortable. So when your child is showing you attitude, don't just ignore it and force them to do what is against their mind. That is why, as a parent, you need to get closer to your children. You need to connect with your children, so that when things are happening, it's either they tell you or you can collect the information from them. Don't force your child to hug people, to kiss people, to sit on the lap. I'm using kiss because I know I'm not talking to any Nigerians. Excuse me. There's some cultures that, kissing is allowed. So if your child is running from that person, please be careful. Don't force them to do what is against their will. If you can find a way to get to talk to that child and say, I noticed that when uncle came, you were not as excited as you used to be. I hope all is well. If the way the child answers will tell you something is wrong, all is well. But just don't feel like greeting him. That means something is wrong. I will still teach you how to handle situation if a child announce or tells you something is happening. Don't panic, don't scream, don't start throwing tantrum like it's because African parents. We are going to discuss that maybe in our next video, another video, before I finish this conversation on sexual abuse. So don't force your child to do what they don't want to do because you feel they should be respectful. This is not saying that children should not be respectful. That is not what I am saying. So don't misquote me. And some people are good at looking for the faults of people when they are talking. Don't misquote me. I'm not saying children should not be respectful. But what I'm saying is that when a child has been respectful and then suddenly the attitude changes, please don't ignore that. Don't ignore that. Don't ignore it. It's the child may be telling you something you are not paying attention to. Now, when the child is just avoiding an adult, don't ignore it. Teaching consent starts from home. If you teach your child the proper, when things are not right, withdraw. That's boundaries. And then when they are creating boundaries, don't force them to break their boundaries. Another thing you need to do is build open communication. This is very important. African parents, Nigerian parents, learn to communicate with your children. I have seen that many parents only give order. We scream, we shout. It is time to learn to communicate, to have dialogue with your children, to connect with them. I wrote a book, how to make your child obey you without working yourself out. I'll put the link in this video. You can get the book. Learn to connect. When you connect with your child, they will feel comfortable around you. They will feel comfortable to discuss things with you. So have an open communication system in your family. Let your children feel comfortable talking, to say anything, anything. Let them feel comfortable to say anything. Let it not be that it's only when there are good news or when there are fun things, that's when they can talk. But when there are some challenging things, mommy will overreact, daddy will overreact. Let them feel comfortable. Let them see you as their go-to person when there are issues. Create a home where children can say, I don't like this. The way some of our parents parented us, you just have to like whatever they say. Just have to be in their, you just have to consent to everything they say. We are no longer in that age where children don't ask questions. So let your children feel comfortable to tell you, I don't like this, I like this, I'm not comfortable with this. Let them be able to express themselves. Let them be able to say whether they are, when something happens, whether they are comfortable or they are not comfortable, whether they are happy or they are not happy. It's not only when they are happy that you see them as children. When they are not happy, when they are going through stress at school, when they are having peer pressure, let them feel comfortable to share with you. It is very powerful. And let them be able to do it without fear, without prejudice, without condemnation. Let it be. Let your home be a home children feel safe. Without punishment. When they say things, they are not punished because they express themselves. Let them feel comfortable. I can't overemphasize this. Communication is key. In every relationship we are building, communication is key. Even parent-child communication is very, 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 very important. So, I want to talk about protecting children in school. Now, children spend a lot of time in school. In fact, some children spend more hours in school than at home. Now, we have parents who are very hardworking, who leaves home early in the morning, very early. Some people even leave home before 7 a.m., and drop their children off in school. They work so late, leave the children with caregivers, and come to pick them late in the evening. So, children also spend a lot of time in school. It's also important for us to educate our children and empower them to feel safe at school. School should be a place children feel safe learning. They feel comfortable learning. A place they feel protected, because children actually spend a lot of time with teachers and they trust their teachers a lot. So parents should ask questions. What are the questions you should ask? If you are okay now, very soon we'll be going on a long-term break. Even now, some of the questions you need to ask in your children's school is, do you have child protection policy? Are there child protection policy in this school? Ask schools that your children are going to. How do you report if anything happens? What are the reporting procedures? Staff safeguarding training? Do your school allow parents, your teachers to train, to have ongoing training on safeguarding? Are there visitor monitoring system? Let me share something. There was a school, very popular school in my location. I went to the school, I wanted to go to the school. I approached the parents and said, I want to come and give sex education in your school. Can you give me contact to meet with the person I can contact? And the parents said, no, in that school they don't allow extracurricular activities. They don't allow people to come and talk to the children. It's only book. So, and your child is in that school. There are some schools that they are highly academically they are high up there with the academic performance. When it comes to GC, this they are always topping, but they don't have other things in their agenda. It's a dangerous school. If all the children are learning is academic, they don't learn other things, social relationship, they don't learn how to interact, they don't learn how to use their skills beyond the cognitive knowledge, then that is not a holistic school. They're only training dummies. Schools that allow that allow their teachers to go through safeguarding training, child protection training, there is always continuous education, especially when it comes to child protection. It's a very good school you can allow your child to go to. Schools that allow extracurricular activities. So if your child's school does not allow other things except academic, your children are not safe there, which means that anything can happen, and they won't have anybody to talk to. They can't share anything because the only thing they want them to do is to get A's. So after getting A's and they have been brutalized, they have been traumatized, what happens? They now have genius children who are hurting, who now become leaders that cannot lead people with conscience, who become a boss that is just creating hurt. Anytime you meet that person, you go home crying because they have been brutalized. So what's the question you should ask when you are taking your child to a new school, or even in your child's school presently? Do you have child protection policy? Are there reporting procedures if something should happen? Are there staff safeguarding training? Are there visitors monitored, or anybody can just enter the school anyhow? If especially for boarding schools rather, if anybody can just come anytime, it's dangerous. So even day schools, you can't just walk into school anyhow. So these are important things you as a parent should pay attention to. Now, are children allowed to ask questions? I went to a school some times ago. I was invited to talk about bullying. Excuse me. I went to talk on bullying, and I had a lengthy time. I think about an hour of conversation. And then when it was question time, the questions the children were asking were breathtaking. Now, one of the questions that really caught my attention was, what if we don't have anybody we can report to in the school? And I said, of course there should be. Another person asked, what if if you report to the teachers, they will not do anything about it, or the teachers will start bullying you? And it happens a lot in school where children don't have anybody they can talk to. It's dangerous. If you're a school owner here and your school doesn't have child protection policy, you don't have a system of reporting that children can feel confident to report any case. There are some schools that when a child reports to a teacher, the child will tell another teacher. Before you know, that child will become a rumor. Everybody will. It happens a lot in schools. Are you the child that they said reported me a teacher? So you have confidence to be talking about a teacher. They will be passing that child to themselves, and they will start name calling that child. If you have a school, this should not be happening in your school. There are so many schools that children cannot report to their teachers because they don't feel comfortable. They don't trust the teachers. Because if they tell anything about it to a teacher, other teachers will know about it. None of these are trainings you should have in your school. How to handle reports. So school owners, Pay attention. Now, teach your children. I'm talking about how to make the school safe. So if you have been with me for this long and you are getting value for this conversation, I want to give this video a like. I would like you to subscribe to this channel and share this conversation with somebody that needs it. Every parent needs to hear this. Every school owner needs to hear this. Every child caregiver needs to hear this. So share this link with somebody. Give this video a like and subscribe to this channel. Another thing you need to also teach your child to be safe in school. Every school should have a reporting system. If A happens to B, who should A report to? Or who should B report to? What should I do next if this happens? But every school should have a child protection policy. They should have a reporting system. So who are the safe adults in the school? The child should be the children should be able to identify, and those safe adults should be safe adults. They are not adults that you go to and you say something and the whole world knows about it. I'll be having a training soon on child protection for school owners. Watch out for that training. Then the school should have a report, like how to what are the measures for reporting. All of these are things children should know. Who should you report to? Who can you talk to if something happens? Don't keep it to yourself. And every school should have safe adults. Should have a team of people who handle child safety matters. Now, also thing you should also do is pay attention to behavioral change. For as a parent, you should pay attention to behavioral change. Notice if your child suddenly start having fear in school, fear for school. Maybe the child who used to love to go to school suddenly didn't like school again. There was a situation, a case I handled years back. There was this girl that was being sexually abused by the teacher. The girl was afraid to tell her parents. In fact, she didn't even know how to tell her parents. She was never sexually educated, and her father, drops her in school very early. So the teacher noticed. Okay, blessing from Ibadan. Thank you for joining me. Knowledge is power. Thank you. Okay, I don't want to murder your name. I would like to know where you're connecting me from. If you are using a cute name on your page, I would like to know your real name and where you're connecting from. Thank you for joining. So I was sharing a story of a girl. The girl was about 13 years old or something, and the teacher was taking advantage of her first term, second term. So because she was so afraid to go back to school after the third term break, she was exhausted. She didn't know what to do. She just walked away. She got to school that morning, first day in school. She was just just walking away. She was wandering away. Thank God somebody that knew her and knew the school, the uniform, because she was wearing a uniform. Saw the girl and said, "This is this uniform. What is this uniform doing in this area?" She has walked, I don't know how to say miles. She had walked far. And then the person, called her attention, took her back to her school, to her parents, and that was how I was involved. So if a child is afraid to go to school, maybe suddenly that child says, "I'm not going to school," don't just assume the child is being naughty. Really, for children that are older children, toddlers may be naughty because they may not want to go to school because they are still trying to get used to the school. But even at that, don't ignore the toddler's cry. Just don't ignore it. You can go to school and say, "My child is always crying to come to school. I want to know what is happening." At least somebody will know that you are paying attention. If your child suddenly avoid a particular staff member, a child is always avoiding when there's a particular teacher or staff member they are avoiding, pay attention. The child suddenly become withdrawn. Anytime the child comes to school, she or he goes to lock themselves up, or they just withdrawn. Maybe a child that used to be very active, used to be very vibrant, now become withdrawn, doesn't want to talk again, doesn't want to share what is happening in school. Pay attention. or refuses to activities, the child that refuses to do activities. Before this child comes home, excited about assignments, about this, pay attention. Behaviors often communicate what words cannot communicate. When your child is showing all of this attitude, it could be that the child is trying to tell you something that the child cannot open their mouth to say. And if you are a sensitive parent, you may get the root of the matter. So another thing as a parent you need to do to protect your children from sexual abuse at home and in school is stay involved. Know your teachers, especially in school, know your teachers' children, know your children's teacher rather, know your children's teacher. Some of us don't go to PTA meetings, we don't involve in school activities, we don't even have the numbers of our children's teachers, we don't know what is happening in the school. All we do is to drop them, or we have a driver that drops them, and that's all we do. It's not good enough. Be a part of your child's growing up. Don't be so busy that you are not involved in your child's growing up. Be involved with its caregiver, transportation arrangements. If the child goes to school with school bus, what is the arrangement? And another part is, I hope your child is not the only one that they drop last. If you have two parents, you can arrange picking up your children if one of you can afford to do that. But if the child has to go to school with the bus, nothing wrong, but also pay attention. We have had issues where a school driver drops all the children, and then the last child in the school, they take advantage of that child. We have had so many issues. A school driver or a child's parent's driver who is supposed to take a child to school, take them home first. There was a particular situation that driver would take the child home and molest the child before taking that child to school. I don't know, something happened. Maybe that child was running late. The child kept coming late, but the child leaves home very early. So I think the teacher reported that this child is always coming late to school, and the parents said, this child that leaves home before 7 o'clock, why would the child be coming late? That was how they found out that something was happening between the child and the driver. So we need to be vigilant as parents. Don't just leave over, don't give away your entire parenting to other people. Be involved. So I want to talk about protecting children online. Now we are in the digital age where we can't but especially if you have teenagers, there's nothing you want to do, they have to use your phone. And today children get assignments from school that has to do with internet. Excuse me. Children come home with assignments on internet. Some children even have access to phone that is theirs. It's okay if you are comfortable with it, but we need to put a check on it. So how do we protect children on internet, especially for younger, older children? Every child, not specifically for any child. There must be some guidance, some rules and regulations, some standard about internet usage. So the first thing is that many parents supervise only physical activities. We don't look at other things. Don't forget that digital space is a very porous space. So in fact, there are some I think those things are reducing. Those days you'll be scrolling on social media, some pornography video will just pop up. I think they have really reduced this recently, or maybe I'm not just one getting it. So understand online grooming. You have to understand what is called online grooming. So go and watch the video I shared last time about grooming. Predators build trust. They build trust with children. They present themselves as somebody that is trustable, that's trustworthy, someone the child can talk to. So if you are a parent who feels, parenting is different from being a child being close to your child, If your child don't feel comfortable talking with you, they will get home, they will prefer to talk to a stranger who is online. So if they are getting the conversation, they are getting the attention that they need from you, from a stranger, you know what that means. The person may be grooming the child and you will not know. Also, I offer some okay, I've said it as predators offers attention. The attention you are not giving your child, a stranger is giving the child. They give compliments. Some of us feel intimidated to tell our children that they are beautiful. We feel that if you tell them they are beautiful, that they would it will enter their head. That's what that's what they say here. I don't know what they say in other places. They say if you tell a child that she is beautiful, she will enter her head. Please let it enter her head from your home. Let that child feel beautiful in your house. Let them know. If you don't give them compliments and someone else does, they feel loved, they feel appreciated, they feel like I'm not even seen, nobody notices me in the house, but here see somebody is appreciating me. Give your children compliments that they deserve. If they feel they are smart, let them know they are smart. If you feel they are beautiful, let them know they are beautiful. If you feel they are hardworking, tell them, but say it in a way that they will appreciate it, not flattering, so that it will not actually enter their head. All right. So they also create secrecy. Predators create secrecy online. So let your children know that nothing should be too big for them to talk to you about. This is very important. And they do all of these things before causing harm. So they build trust, they offer attention, they give compliments, they create secrecy before attacking or preying on the child. Now, teach digital safety. Children should know never share personal information. They should not share their parents' details, their parents' office address, their home address, anything personal to them that can harm them, that can eventually be a thing that can harm them. They should not share. They should not share pictures, private pictures. They should not share with anybody. Never keep secrets with someone online. We have had instances where people build relationship online and then they go and something else happen. They should not feel comfortable just being online without carrying you along. Tell a trusted adult if something feels uncomfortable. Children should be able to share with an adult if they feel that this conversation is not healthy. As they are growing up, their instincts should be getting more they should be able to trust their instincts. When things are not right, children also can feel it. Children can also feel it. Then keep conversation open. Make your home a home where children feel comfortable. I cannot overemphasize this one. Let your children feel comfortable talking with you. Make the conversation open. Avoid becoming only a monitor. Don't just monitor your children. Have conversation with them. Be a guide. Become their guide. Be their role model. Let them see you do what you want them to do. Children should feel comfortable discussing their online experiences with you and not to a stranger. Set family boundaries when it comes to technology use. For example, maybe device should not be used in the bedroom. It should only be used in the sitting room. It should not be used after a particular time. There should be time off the phone. There should be age appropriate apps. There are regular conversation about internet safety. Should be consistent. Then set parental guide on your children phone. Don't just let them have access to it 100%. There should be a parental guide. There should be time to use phone. Time, let it be depending on your family. Every family is unique. but make sure there are rules and regulations on internet use. So I want to talk about the most important factor in protection. What is the most important factor in protection? This is very important. Research and experience has shown consistently that one of the strongest protection factor is a trusted relationship with a safe adult. When children have people they can trust, when they have adults they can share something with, that is one powerful way to protect children. A trusted relationship with a safe adult makes a child feels heard, respected and believed. And who is the best person to be that trusted adult? You that you are the parent, or at least a teacher or somebody in school. If the school has a strong child protection policy, then there should be some people children can talk to when they feel unsafe. So when children feel comfortable around adults, they feel heard, they feel protected, they feel they are believed. And more also like they can speak up if something happens, they can ask questions, they can seek help, they have people they can trust and they can share something with. Protection is not about rules. It's not just about creating rules. No. Protection is about building relationship. When you build a relationship with your children, they can trust you to tell you something. Your children have the right to keep information to themselves if they don't trust you. So you should be able to be trustworthy so that they can freely share things with you. So, what to do if a child tells you something? What should you do? In case now we are more informed and you want to start a conversation with your child. So if you don't know how to start a conversation with your child, go through my channel. I've shared a number of things already on child sexual abuse prevention. And I also wrote a book for preschool and school-age children called Safe and Smart Learning Adventure. I'll put the link in this video. Now, the book teaches you how to initiate sex education in a child-friendly way. And it comes with fun. Children learn how to, you teach them sex education in a very child-friendly way. It's a coloring book. They color, they have songs, they sing, they also do role play. It's a very fun, down-to-earth way. You as a parent can initiate education with your children and children can learn creating fun. I'll put the link in this video so that you can get a copy for your child. You can also use it for a gift, birthday gifts, or for somebody that you want to protect. So what to do if your child tells you something? First is that if a child discloses anything, stay calm. Now as a parent, you need to be there for your children. You need to be very confident and powerful for your children. If your child tells you something that feels unsafe, you stay calm. Don't panic. Don't scream. Don't say, mighty pani ori mi o. No. That's a Yoruba language I just spoke. And a lot of Yoruba people, parents, you can exaggerate a lot. Hey, my head, this child has killed me. No, the child has not killed you. Just share something with you. I need to take action. Believe them. Don't always assume children talk as children talk. Sometimes it's not just children talk. It is something you need to pay attention to. Believe them. Do not blame. Don't apportion blame. What did you go and do there? What did you go there? What did you do? No, don't apportion blame. Listen to them. Don't shame them. Don't get panic. Do not panic. Say things like, I thank you for telling me. I appreciate them for telling you that they went through that challenge. Not just shunning it down or assuming that I use this child. You are coming with your trick and you are making them feel uncomfortable. Because when you do that, they will shut down. They will not be able to tell you. And that makes them more vulnerable. So tell them you believe in them. Tell them you did the right thing. They did the right thing for telling you. Let them know that it's not their fault. It's not their fault that somebody is taking advantage of them. It's not their fault. This word matters to the children. When you were able to give them confidence that they did the right thing to tell you, They did the right thing by telling you, and the situation is not their fault. It's the fault of the person that is taking advantage of them. They feel confident and they can tell you more. They can tell you more. All right. So, by God's grace, I will be sharing maybe in my next video or subsequent videos on how to handle cases of sexual abuse. That it's happened, you don't pray. My prayer and my reason for sharing this conversation with you is that it should not happen. I pray that your children don't go through any form of abuse. But what if it happens around you or somewhere, somebody very close? How do you handle this situation? I'll be sharing that in another subsequent videos. Make sure you always tune in to my channel, Patricia Abokede. I have this conversation every Sunday, 7 p.m. Nigerian time, West African time. So if you are connecting from outside Nigeria, make sure you connect with me when it is 7 p.m. West African time, and let's have this conversation. Thank you for joining me. Ketlos, I don't know how to call that name. I don't want to bother your name. So for those that have been consistent with me, I really appreciate you for joining me. You made this a very huge opportunity for me. I mean, you made my day for joining me today. And make sure you share this video with somebody. Share this video with a parent, with a school owner, with a teacher, with a child caregiver, with a children church teacher or Islamic teacher. Let them know that our children need to be protected. It's very important. And as I close, I want to let you know that protecting children is not a one-time conversation. It should be a lifestyle. It shouldn't be one thing you want to say just once and assume the child have known everything. It should be a lifestyle. You should develop a comfortable, convenient way to always involve your children, not in a fearful way. To always talk about protection. It's a small conversation that you do frequently and not in fear. I've said it, it's not fear. The trust you build as you do this conversation gradually in a small sessions, once in a while, you are building trust, you are creating awareness, you are building your children's confidence. The awareness is you develop, they become more aware, they become more powerful, they own their body, they can, they teach them to set boundaries. They understand that they can set boundaries. They understand that they are the grand commander in chief of the armed forces of their body, right? And a safe space is created for them. You do not have to parent from fear. No, you can parent from knowledge. Knowledge is powerful. So if you are watching this, I want you to type on the comment section, knowledge is powerful. Knowledge is powerful. Being aware of something, it reduces the chances to be a victim of that thing. So knowledge is a powerful tool, especially when it comes to child sexual abuse prevention. So knowledge saves life. Knowledge saves life. So as I close, I believe this session has really empowered you. I believe I have been able to, help you to understand more about child sexual abuse and how to prevent it. So if this conversation has really impacted you in any way, whether you're watching it live with me here or you're watching it as a replay, I want you to like this video so that it can increase our algorithm with the Facebook, and also share the link with somebody who would learn from it. Also subscribe to the channel and connect with me every Sunday, 7 p.m. West African time. Let's have this conversation together. And remember that so in this channel we talk about child protection, positive parenting, trauma recovery, emotional safety, and breaking the cycles of abuse. That is what this channel is all about. Remember that every protected child has a better chance at a healthy future. Every child we protect has a better chance at a healthy future. And every safe child builds a stronger nation. So choose awareness, choose protection, choose to be different. I'll see you next week, 7 p.m. West African time, for another conversation on child safety. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.